Hello, hello, Crash, and I welcome you. Crash, you gonna say hi? Doesn't look like he wants to be disturbed, does he? Anyway, thank you so much for joining me. My name is Sharon Rogers, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Wells, Maine. And every Friday night at 7:30, I like to come to you Eastern time, of course, because that's where I am. And I like to come to you with a project. And tonight is pretty quick and simple. I'm going to let the designer series paper do most of the work with a little help from some dies. So let's get started. I'm going to turn you around and turn you down. All right, I think that's pretty good. There we go. Be sure to say hi in the chat if you are signed into YouTube. I was inspired by the beauty that is around me right now. Southern Maine is at peak foliage. We might even be just a hair over peak foliage right now. I'm not quite sure. I'm going to begin with a base of Cajun Craze. So it is 5.5 by 8.5, scored and folded in half at 4 1/4. Then I'm going to bring in a piece of this beautiful designer series paper. This is the Splendid Autumn paper, and I should have left the package out. Let me go ahead and grab that just so you can see some of the designs in there if you haven't already. It is gorgeous paper. We'll make pretty cards, not just in the autumn though, because it has some other prints that could go for spring or summer, but there are definitely some autumn patterns. This is the one that we're going to be using tonight. And here's a beautiful little summer or fall sunset. Some more fall. And this would be nice for summer, spring, or fall. Got some little pumpkins and a pumpkin patch. And of course on the other side we have some they're just straight color, but there is a little bit of texture to them. So a little bit of design work over on the back side. Some more pretty trees. Here's a nice little wheat field that I love. I just love the brush strokes in there. And looks like a little further view of that right here. Pretty skies. Some pretty, would these be Shasta daisies? I'm not quite sure. I don't really know. And then we've got these beautiful brown-eyed Susans too. I love this one. And here we have another one. So you can see that while there are definitely some autumn prints in here, not everything is autumn. So let me just set this aside for the moment. And I'm going to bring in a paper trimmer because this 6x6 sheet is too large to fit on here. We're going to be concentrating on a 3-inch wide piece. And I'm going to get most of the road in here, I think. So I can use this piece for something else. And this is a little bit too tall, so I need to trim this down a little bit. Where's my sample? I had some measurements all ready to go, and guess what? I cleaned up and now I can't find them. So I need to get my sample out so I know what I'm doing. All right, so we're going to cut this down so that it's not 6 inches in length, or in height, if I will say that. It's going to be 4.5. I'm going to cut off most of the sky. You could, if you wanted more sky, you could certainly do that. In fact, let's go ahead. I'm going to cut a little bit of the road off. So I'll keep a little bit more of the blue in the sky. And just make sure that this is 4.5 at the end of the day. There we go. So we have this nice little path with our trees on the side. So this measures 3 by 4.5. I'm going to cut them into 1-inch wide segments. This is a really simple layout. Doesn't take much time at all. When you're doing this, you want to make sure that you keep the orientation. So it's just as though I could put this right back together. You want to keep the pieces in order. Now here I have a piece of basic black that is already cut, and it's cut a little bit longer and wider. So this is going to be 3.5 inches, 3.5 inches wide, and it is 4 3/4 inches the other way. That's going to give us a beautiful little border and some distance between the two pieces. When I'm adhering these, I start with the outside pieces first, and I align it so that the top, left, and bottom have about the same margin. And then I'm going to take the rightmost piece and do the same thing on the other side. I want to keep the margins about the same everywhere. So we'll just adjust, and that's why, one reason why I really like the Tombow glue, because it gives me a little bit of time to play and get it just where I want it. And then the last piece goes right in the center. But you probably figured that out. So there we go. All right, now what we're going to do, we can go ahead and put that onto our card base. I'm going to use up a sheet of my dimensionals. Let's see, one in each corner. I think I've got a little one left over that I can use later, but I have, in cleaning up my space, I found so many partial sheets of dimensionals. I need to use them up. Put this right here in the center, in the front of our card. That looks pretty good, I think. I'm also going to bring in a stamp set and some dies. So with my dies, this is the Autumn Leaves bundle. Well, it's no longer offered as a bundle because it's more than a year old. So it's last catalog. And personally, I'm not crazy about these leaves. I don't like the heavy veining in them, but I do love the bare, the skeletons of them, I guess you would say. And then I love some of these greetings a lot. These are a little bit on the small side, but certainly if you're younger and you have younger eyes, it's not a big deal. But this one sentiment right here, autumn teaches us that change can be beautiful, is one of my favorite sentiments. And the dies that coordinate with it are very nice. So you have some regular leaf dies and outlines, but you also have these great little ones, and we're going to use these two. And look, there's 2 of each, so if we wanted to make more leaves, we could quite easily without a lot of extra passes. Now, if I bring in here are my scraps that I've cut up and obviously used a bunch of these already. But I'm gonna take some of them and I'm gonna cut leaves out of them just because there's just a little bit extra texture. It's not an even color on there. So that'll work really nicely for my trees. And I think I want, because the other one is an oak leaf, I want to find a back that's got some yellow to it. So I know that there's one in here because I used it earlier. I just need to find it. Oh, there we go, there's one. So great use of all these little scraps. I mean, you can, for the longer ones, you can certainly go ahead and use those for the inside decorating, but this is what we have for that. Now let's go ahead and bring in a piece of basic white. Who's watching tonight? Anybody tuning in, saying hi to me? Nobody in the chat. Let's see. I'm going to bring in that Cajun Craze, and we're going to use that beautiful, beautiful sentiment. Autumn teaches us that change can be beautiful. All right. And I know this is a lovely scrap to be cutting up. So there's my Cajun Craze. Cherry cobbler would have looked pretty nice, but because I went with a Cajun Craze backdrop, I wanted to do Cajun Craze here. Let's move things aside so we can bring in our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and one pass is going to do it tonight. So we need plates 1 and 2, a third plate, a number 3 plate. We can put our leaves on here, and we can put our sentiment on here. Now I want to put my sentiment at an angle because I don't want a harsh line going through my machine if I can help it. Just, it gives you, I mean, it's jarring when it does that. And it's not great for the machine. So it's best if you can avoid it. All right, let's run this through, and in one pass, we will have all 3 elements that we need for our card. All right, let's see. I know some of you are watching because I can see the count. You may not be logged in, I suppose. So here, you drop it. Well, it's making me a liar, but usually it just pops right out. See, this one popped right out. But if it doesn't, all you need to do is take your pick tool. It comes right out. All right. Let's put my plates away. And let's bring our card back in here. I also have a piece of this wild wheat, I've forgotten what it's called. Let's see, and I'm not sure. Oh, here it is. It is the wild wheat rustic striped ribbon, and I'm just using a little bit of it. It picks up that same yellow or goldish color that's in the leaves. It's not quite as harsh as crushed curry. I'm going to figure out where I'm putting things here. I want that, and I can trim that down if I need to. I'll be putting some leaves, probably tucking them like this. I want them to show enough. I don't want them to get hidden too much, but there we have something that looks like that. I think I'll move it down a little bit so I can get a little bit more of the trees showing in there. So I think that's what I'm looking to have. So I'll hold those 2 sort of in the place that they were. Add just a little bit of glue to the back. And there are some lines cut in here to give it some added shape and dimension. So you want to try to keep the glue away from those lines because it will squeeze through them. And we're going to do this one. Anybody got any plans for this weekend? Tomorrow, I work for a church. Tomorrow we're having a party in the park, in a nearby park that's in a neighborhood that doesn't get as much love as it should get. And we're going there. We're going to have some inflatables and some field games, like good old-fashioned field games like potato sack races, and it's really fun watching the kids do that. I'm gonna take my sentiment and put on that last little dimensional. I can throw this one away, and it'll bring out my other partial. See, I told you I had a bunch. And if I'm lucky, I'm not gonna have to attach my, maybe I'll take a little bit more. I'm not gonna have to attach my ribbon because it will hit these dimensionals anyway. So let's see, if I come right like this, I want to have my ribbon up a little bit more, I think. I need to straighten this piece out, kind of center it in those two pieces. And I want this over a little bit. And I think I want it a little bit shorter, so we'll just trim it. I did cut it, just did not come off. Okay. And there we go. Now you could put some gems on here if you like the added sparkle, but I just like it the way it is. Oftentimes when I'm seeing people posting pictures of the leaves, I see enhanced photos from photographers and it drives me nuts. These leaves are beautiful as they are, and to enhance them so much that they look so fake just bothers me a lot. So I'm gonna just kind of let the natural beauty here kind of shine through. So see, 2 cards, same card. And for the inside, we can just take a piece of the white, and then we can look through our scraps, and we can use maybe, here we go. We've got the scrap, the other of the 3 inches that we cut off. We can go ahead and maybe cut a 1/2 inch and determine where that placement's gonna go on this little piece right here. I'll probably put it on the inside. And just clip off the end that hangs over. All right. So now I just have a beautiful little note card. I could send this as a happy birthday card, you know, that requires change. Somebody might be changing from their 30s to their 40s and may not be happy for it, but those of us who have already done it know it's not any big deal. Age is a number. I mean, you sure do feel things a little bit differently when you get older. Oh, I got a little rust up here. I'll have to take my sand eraser to it a little bit later. But there we have our autumn card. Now, one thing I wanted to mention before I go is we are coming upon the deadline to register for my Santa's workshop. So I'm offering 3 classes, 2 of which you can take in person on Saturday, November 2nd. And one of the classes is the Winterly Treetops, well, I'm going to call it the Nests of Winter class. It features the Winterly Treetops stamp set and dies, but also the beautiful Nests of Winter Designer Series paper. And I believe you'll get half a package of that paper, and I forgot what else, if there's anything else. And you'll get all the supplies to make 8 cards, 2 of each of 4 designs. And so here was my favorite one. If you came to my fall retreat, I'm picking 4 of those cards to do. So if you came to my fall retreat, this is not going to be one of the classes that you'll want to take because you've already taken it if you took it at the fall retreat. So love this. I love this card. I think it's beautiful, and it's really not very hard. The die cuts out the birds. The die cuts out this part. I mean, it is super simple. Another class that I have, and I have not finished designing my cards yet. This is one that may make the cut. I'm not quite sure. It may be a variation of this. It's one I received in a swap, and it was from Bobby Crouch. And it features the Yuletide Village set. And we're going to be using and playing with some shimmer paste when we do this, and you'll get a jar with that. That's included in the price of the class. Again, you'll make each of 4 designs, and this is going to be really cute, I think. And then the other one is Shepherd's Care. And here's a card, and this card was created by Therese Burdette, I think. Well, one of them is from Therese and one of them is from Bobby, but again, I got this in a swap. I'll probably make my bow a little bit different, but this goes to show you that more mustard really doubles very nicely as gold, especially when it's paired with some paper that has some gold and some embossing that has some gold. This is a very simple one. We'll add some more color to some of the other cards, but this is the other class. And again, you will, I forgot what I include in this one. I'm going to give a link in the comment. Well, I'm going to post it on my Facebook page. And I'll probably give a link in the description of this video after it's done, so that you can look at the landing page for my Santa's workshop and see if it's something that you'd like to take. You can do it online, so I can send you out the video tutorials. So it's virtual, not necessarily in person, or you can do it in person. But the deadline to sign up for that is October 22nd, so it's just a few days away. Oh, let me go ahead and turn you back around. There I am. There's Crash. He's made it through. Crash, say hello to everybody. I'm sure my sister is watching, and Aunt Tony would like you to see your face. There we go. There we go. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have a great weekend. Here in the Northeast, it is going to be fantastic weather. It's going to be nearing 70. It's going to be 74 on Monday. My son Matthew, many of you have heard Matthew's stories. He's already calling it a heat wave, which that kid is never satisfied. It's too cold. It's too rainy. It's too sunny. It's too hot. I don't know. He's never happy, but I'm going to be happy because the weather's going to be beautiful and we're going to be outside a lot. So I hope you are too. Enjoy, and we will see you on Sunday, I hope, for my 12 Sundays of Christmas project at 3 p.m. right here on my YouTube channel. Have a good weekend, everybody.